just like you guys got 100 feet from the property line for the solar ordinance. Who wants to look at that out your window 100 feet from your door, your property line? I don't. So please rethink that.
Someone else?
Sure. I'd like to emphasize what Jessica was starting to say about the referendum signatures they got. I think it'd be wise to look at those very quickly attained signatures, almost like a survey. And there are more people I've noticed online saying, I didn't know, I'd like to sign it too. I'm from Montcalm Township, Kamloops. And to answer the question about the have we ever had a wind company win a lawsuit against the township, I think there's only one that's been sued. The township won. You guys know that. You received the 33 townships that have restrictive ordinances, and that's grown by 4 in Montcalm County now. We have Pearson, we have Eureka, we have Sydney, and we have, there's one more, guys, and Pine, have all passed safe, restrictive ordinances, not exclusionary, but safe and restrictive. And I question safe. I think they need to be further away from homes than most of the townships are putting in already.
Someone else?
I just want to revisit the building a new township hall. As township members, we all want to have a great township hall, and we all want to have, the best bang for our buck. But I think that we need to look at it in 2 ways. One, I think we need to solicit and offer first to a township resident if they're a builder and qualified and it's feasible. But I think we also need to open it up to outside of the township members so that we get the best qualified builder who can give us the best for our money. And if we just pick one within the township, we are limiting ourselves to just a very small pool. I think that should be given preference. There should be you look at the bids, and if they're all very close, then obviously you say, you know what, for this little bit of difference, we're going to give it to our township member. But overall, I think we still need to look at it from references and experience and bids, and I would encourage you to even put it out in a bigger newspaper than what you've done before. I don't know which paper you put it in before. I don't know if it was the River Valley. That's a worthless newspaper, in my opinion. I don't get one delivered. I never see a River Valley. I really basically don't even have access to a River Valley paper unless I stop at some gas station or something. So using the River Valley used to get delivered to my box, and I haven't received a River Valley in, a couple years or better. And so that's really kind of a worthless paper in terms of trying to get more people to respond to your ad. So I would encourage you to go to a bigger paper. I don't know if you did the Greenville paper. I don't even know if you consider doing the Grand Rapids newspaper, but or the Big Rapids newspaper, but we really need to have a bigger pool of people who would be qualified candidates who would want to build this hall and build this hall for the needs of this township.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other person?
I might as well.
Okay, go ahead.
When Doug was mentioning the restrictions and everything and the lawyers and how they can scare you, Grand Haven Township has an attorney, Reddick, who they have 150 feet height maximum. He is an attorney, and he also represents Douglas Township. He told Douglas Township when they wanted to have a low height, he said, oh no, that's too restrictive. Let's go 450. In a sense, they live on the lake shore. They're elite. We're hillbillies because we're in town. So the judge's not gonna say, well, no, because you're away from the water, you got to worry about it. They're not going to do that. I know there's a few that have, and you can say skin in the game, they want some money, but the most of us don't. Most of the township people do not want it. It's a few that do, and it's also Apex that comes in. Now, not in the bottom of your heart, but you know exactly right now, as soon as they get their frickin' money, they're going to be off like a prom dress. You're never going to see them again because they're going to hit another county. They're going to hit another state. That's how they make their money. They used to all be lobbyists. That was their profession, professional lobbyist. Now I got an easier way to make another buck. Let's get on this wagon. And it's a shame that you got sucked into it. It's been mentioned, you maybe made a mistake. Face up to it. Say, yep, we blew it. You know, Dan Main, he did a heck of a job at Pine Township. He flat out had the balls to say, I don't trust these people. I never will. They lie. They continue to lie, and they always will. Because they're going to lie to you until they get in your back door and they're gone. So really, really think about that. And they're not going to be here when you need a hand. They're going to laugh at you. They're going to, shit, that little podunk. So please put that into a lot of thought. That's all. I think I didn't want to. I get so mad. It's ridiculous.
I guess maybe it's time for me to share a little bit. What it used to be, you could lease out your mineral rights. You're aware of that. It was oil and gas. When they came with the wind, it sounded good because you get money back here to the township and that sort of thing. It sounded reasonable. We had no idea that it would get to this proportion, but we signed the contract, so we're there.
You have a gag order as well, so you can't say anything. So what? Throw it away, because they screwed people in Gratiot County. If you'd like me to bring some along that have signed, that are so mad, they said we wish we could take it back. They're not gonna run around and sue everybody that pulls out a contract.
I wouldn't worry about your gag part of it, because I don't think they would ever enforce it. I think that's just another scare tactic.
Well, you also think we're making lots of money on this,
Oh, no, you guys
We don't
didn't
think
even
you're making a
negotiate
lot.
to make money for your township.
personally for us, $2,000 a year. I mean, we're not stuffing our pockets with that. Anyway, everyone's got their own ideas. We thought that we would be helping our township out by doing that.
Did you talk to your neighbors?
Help the township.
You thought you were helping your township, why did you keep it under the table? Why did it go 2 years?
I said right from the very beginning that we signed a contract. It's been no secret.
That has been a secret in every one of these townships until 2020, end of 2019. And they had been here for 2 years prior to that. It was all secret. You guys didn't share nothing with anybody.
No one was here.
You guys mailed out, no, you're right, they weren't. But you guys mailed out tax bills twice a year. And in them tax bills, did any of you take the time to say, you know what, we need to let them know that a wind energy company's coming? Maybe people will come in here and get into a meeting and help give feedback? No, you didn't. That same postage that mailed that out, you could have stuck that in with the tax bills at any point in time and let your township know what was going on, just like the other townships could have. So yes, you did take it under the table. You guys didn't negotiate any type of money. You just took what Apex said we're gonna give you and we're gonna make you rich. Well, you know what? You've ruined a whole community of people, and you stacked your PC to even make it worse for your township. You guys, I'm from Maple Valley, and you guys make our township look good. And that says something, because our township looks like crap. But you guys are worse off than we are. And you have done that, Phyllis. You had good people that were on your PC, you pulled them off. You had good people that wanted to be on your PC that you didn't bother to put on there, but you put people that hadn't been to meetings, that were related to lease signers. You stacked your PC, so you didn't work for your township.
Right.
Is there anyone else?
Can I play devil's advocate and talk twice again? Let me back you up a little bit. Do you know why Apex is targeting the west side of Montcalm and not the east? Common sense, they've been moving west from here on, since day one. But the west side of Montcalm is all county-zoned townships. And the history of wind, it's easier to pass a project in a county zone than it is a township zone. But this is, every year, evolves a little bit more, where they have to offer less people more money. When over to Huron, when they first put in those projects, the money was distributed pretty evenly. You didn't make a whole lot more money if you had a turbine on your property versus if you just signed a lease. It was more evenly per acre. But now it's getting more, the money is in the turbines. If you got a lease signed and you don't get a turbine, you're not getting squat $2,000 a year, who cares? If you get a turbine, you're getting $2,000 a month every month for every turbine. But they skip to the east because the west side is looking at it. They know, they have neighbors, they have friends that have gone through this. Kevin mentioned the Gratiot County people that are, they regretted their leases. There was a couple that have came to a couple of Moncom meetings. They never came here because they keep getting harassed by Apex, harassed by Dan Paris, but they were lease signers. When the first project came to Gratiot County, they signed a lease because it sounded great. It's going to help the township. But then they didn't get a turbine in the first project. The second project, they didn't get a turbine either. They're still on that first 6 years construction term of the lease. So whether you get one or not, you're still getting your payment. And by the time the third project came through, their lease had expired. They were offered a new lease, but they didn't want a turbine. They didn't want anything to do with it because they had known enough friends who had issues with them. Because it's right there. Moncom, we're about 30, 40 miles from the closest turbine on this side of Moncom. It's to try to target that ignorance. I'm trying to give you that credit of nobody here knew better. Unless you're going to the east side of the state all the time, if you got family, we've got family over there. It's not the top concern in their lives, but it's one of those, if they had a choice to do it over again, they would make a different choice. And I think a lot of them would, but you're already stuck with it. And if the west side of Moncom gets this project, well, east side, you're looking at it that way, you're looking at it that way, you might as well make some money on it, and they're going to sign up for it too. The hopes is we draw the line. It's not about energy. The potential energy with wind is there, but it's on offshore. Right now they're triple the wind per turn each turbine, but Reddick, these rich lawyers, they don't want to be looking at the damn thing, so they're putting them in our backyard. And it's not nowhere near as effective, but it sells. As long as it sells, that's why they're targeting township officials. If Apex came in here, being transparent, being honest, being upfront with the community, I'd be wearing a blue shirt and I would be supporting them, backing them up, because property rights. I don't want nobody telling me what to do on my damn property. But if you lived in a zone community where you can't put up a shed without permission, you don't have those property rights anymore. So I still, my heart goes out to you, Phyllis, because I think you're kind of up the creek. I don't think you wanted this, and now everybody's pissed.
But maybe
Well,
resignation is the best answer.
Yes, you shouldn't have voted. There's no reason to vote, and I don't know who's talking in your ear, and I'm going to point my finger at Dan Harris because he seems to be the missing link to everybody else. But at some point in time, you're going to have to realize the township don't want this. I don't know how many people got to sign things. Those are all your neighbors. John, those are all your neighbors. Go through those referendum lists. You're going to be going through the recall list. Have that awareness that these aren't just nobodies. You know these people. You see them every day. They are your neighbors and the people you work for. My bench down.
What happens if Apex Energy sells to an energy company? And the energy company all of a sudden says, hey, I want to run power lines from these people's property. Boom, we'll offer them this amount of money. People say, no, I don't want that, and they're just going to seize it. That's what's going to end up happening.
If they signed a lease, they can't do anything about it.
No, but they can do eminent domain.
Okay, is there any other comment?
Perhaps there needs to be new people on the board, that there isn't a conflict, that haven't signed a contract, that are not gonna get in any trouble, that can revisit this so that you can step away and let new people take over the lead and go up against Apex. Because you can't, you said you have this conflict of interest, or not interest, rather, you have this gag rule, and that you quote signed a contract. Well, maybe perhaps then, in all honesty, the best answer is to step down so that you don't have any issues and you can continue to do your business with Apex, and somebody else that has not signed a contract can come in and step into that position. And anybody else on the planning commission or board that has signed, then there wouldn't be an issue.
Is there any other comment?
May I make a statement?
Sure.
The only time that Phyllis voted was when it was a 50-50 and she had to, according to not The lawyers that, not the Apex lawyers, our township lawyers.
But they're working.
Your township lawyer
I'm
works for
not,
them.
I'm not talking about the Apex lawyer, I'm talking about the lawyer that we've had for, I don't know how many years, since before I ever got to know anything about the township. The only time that she voted was strictly that one time. The rest of the time, she did not vote.
Question on that, so you had 2 voted yes, 2 voted no, would have it passed without her vote?
Yes. A tie would pass.
Tie fails.
The tie fails. Tie fails. So she voted no, she put herself in a bad spot, and that her vote didn't mean anything because 2 and 2 does not pass a vote. So she should have just sat back and said, I can't vote. 2 and 2 does not pass the vote.
She knows that.
The red book says I have to vote.
No, you're conflicted, you're not supposed to.
Anyway, does somebody else have a comment that hasn't spoken already?
Vicki Douglas, Maple Valley. And what's really funny is when I first raised my hand, he hadn't spoke yet. And Penny hadn't spoke yet. But they hit on what I was gonna say. If you feel that, if you are being honest about your feelings toward this board would have never passed what the PC said you. Never. So I have a hard time believing that.
That's what it is, I guess.
The other thing is, those that have signed, even if Apex goes down the road and doesn't put anything up, everybody who signed still has a contract and they can come in and destroy your property and put up whatever they want, not a wind turbine. They can put wires in or cables if they have to go someplace else. They own your property for however long your contract
They
is.
can do it for up to 35 years. They can
However
do it.
long your contract is, you signed it right off to them, and I feel really bad for you, but
That's what Reed does.
Jeremy gave you so much information. A lot of people here, since I've been coming to your meetings, have given the board and the planning commission so much information. And I'm sitting here thinking, nobody here researched themselves, even before you signed a contract. If you're sitting here saying, you know, I thought I would do this, or maybe throwing out a hint you wish you wouldn't have signed it, you research. And it sounds like nobody did. It was all about the money, period. And that's sad. That's it.
Does there anyone else have comment?
I just,
Listen to this.
out of the, listening to all the public comment, I guess I would like to address about 3 issues. Property line, talking about non-participating property line, but I think it would be a waste for our board to do anything right now, because I'm sure the signatures for referendum has already been collected. It would be.
They've been turned in. 384.
Well, then
It's a
there's
little
no
late.
sense in me changing anything at this point.
Yeah, you should have done it in June, and you should have done it a year ago. You should have done it this whole time.
So,
Nobody
so
listened.
that, it's gonna be in the ballot, so, I mean, that'll, steering committee, we were talking about finding carpenters, but then I got to thinking about it. We're gonna be right back to the same discussion we're having about wind energy.
Why?
If we're trying to, I like the idea of the local carpenters being on the committee, but if they're gonna bid for the project too,
Makes them conflicted.
we're gonna be right back in the same place we're now, conflicted.
You're not gonna find a local carpenter who's gonna wanna be on the committee to
But-
do the job. One or the other.
Well,
They find a retired carpenter.
But I like the idea if we can find a couple local.
I said, just make a steering committee and let
And-
them bid.
And
Okay, sure.
what would it cost our township to send out postcards making the correction?
Okay, I'll send out postcards.
I mean, what would it
My
cost?
boss is,
What would it cost?
I've got,
I'm not, but it's been brought up.
I just thought I had it covered when we put it on the web and I put it in the window. And I've been writing on the back, everybody that, it's just the ones that have paid their bill, I write on the back, primary August 2nd. On the back of their envelope,
How
they
many
can't
people
open it
look at
without
that?
seeing.
Printing off the labels, it's a big job, right? How many hours involved in it?
I don't know. My abilities, we'll see. We'll try, okay?
I'm not sure
what the phrase here is, if it's like a postcard, because your postage all went up.
I know.
July the 11th. Because,
Tell him not to have the attorney come
and,
from.
how much is my attorney? How many you sent out?
I'm assuming a small postcard.
They come with a postage on.
Thank you.
I don't know, need a motion?
It's okay.
I move.
No, I don't know.
You
I
can't.
wonder if we're spending money, it probably is a township issue. I make a motion to send out a correction postcard.
I'll second that motion.
So, it would be, like, property owners will send out a correction postcard to property owners. Anybody that would have received the incorrect one.
You got less registered voters, you save more money sending it to registered voters than property owners. Because the voters
Yeah.
announce that anyway.
You have a hand out there, Daisy.
Yes. Rose, yes. Kathy, yes. John.
Yes.
Nate.
Yes.
Is there any other comment?
This is board, Welcome Township, Santa. Has the board ever thought about creating an email listing of their residents, and so when corrections need to be made, or they're trying to schedule a meeting, that you could send it out to an email group, and it hits everybody in your township that signed up, and they all know about it?
We don't have an email list. I'm lucky if I get a phone number occasionally.
But it's a matter of collecting it over time when they pay their taxes, or you send it out in their tax bills. We're going to be sending a mass mailing once a year, or when we have meeting changes. Please send us your email address if you would like to be informed of such a thing, and create a list.
Very good.
Be on the board.
I mean, it is the electronic age. Schools do it, workplaces do it, government does it.
Is there any other comment? Lori?
Lori Custis, Winfield Township, and I have done some research, and I know I said it one time, but this just keeps coming back to me. And the latest that I could get off the website was 2016, I don't know why, this is 2022. But in 2016, there were 30 agricultural property in Winfield Township, 30. There are 89 residential property. We are different. I have family in Gratiot who wish they had or would have done what they did. We're different than Gratiot, but when I have paperwork for that, because I looked it up. We have almost 3 times more people in our little township than they do in Gratiot, because they are all farmers with big properties. I have cousins that farm 2,000 acres. We happy, I thought everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, this all came up. And so I started doing the checking. You need to listen, and I read through what your rules are as a township board, and I had it written down what paragraph or what number. It says you are to do what the majority of your township wishes. Well, your majority is 89 back in 2016. That's almost 3 times what your farmers are. You've got to listen to the residential people. I come from a farming background. I love farmers. I have nothing against a farmer. But you've got to listen to the majority, and I don't feel like you are. Anyway.
Is there any other comments? Tom?
When I was on the zoning and planning board here at Winfield Township, and we were just starting to go to the ZBA and get different ideas to update, we had all kinds of new things that were coming in. And that's what we did, is we went out and we put a survey out to all of the taxpayers to find out how they felt about the changes and the things that were in there before we made any moves. Okay, and I'm just wondering why we haven't done that. Now it just seems so conflicted that we didn't have an opportunity. I mean, we come to all the meetings and say it. I'm sitting back here thinking, I live on a lake and I own all this property that I pay taxes on, but none of this property matters because we're gonna go from the lake versus the back of my property. What's the difference with me or anybody else? But it really doesn't make a difference if I say this because we're referendum it, it's going to a vote. So I've been just quiet about it, but I'm torn inside because I like all you, I've worked with all of you and everything else, but I'm like my wife, I don't even know who you are now. You know? That's all I got.
Is there anyone else that has a comment? Then I'll close public comment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We had a lady that wanted a special land